Hi, I'm Derek Cooper, Australian PGA professional and golf coach. Thank you for joining me today for the second lesson in our Better Putting Blueprint series. In the last lesson, we talked about some fundamentals which are going to be, or pre-swing fundamentals, which are critical to your success in putting. Today we're going to build on those fundamentals, start to show you some additional drills that you can do so you can gain more consistency with those, which are going to be very helpful for you with your putting overall. If you haven't had a chance to look at the first lesson in this series, or you didn't get a chance to do the drills that I talked about in that first lesson, I would definitely suggest you go back and take a look at that and do those drills, because they're the ones that we're going to build on today. And being able to build on those is going to be critical to your success in the things I'm going to share with you today. So far we've been talking about the mechanics that were required in your pre-swing fundamentals, how to set up, how do we make a stroke. Today what we want to do is start applying those into more game-like situations. So we're going to talk about how can we apply those pre-swing fundamentals, put them into a consistent pre-shot routine so that you can repeat those fundamentals and have some success out on the golf course. I've set up here on the green. I'm about 4 or 5 feet from the hole, fairly straight putt. The routine we want to work through is, I'd like to see you stand behind the ball, and we're trying to line up the putt. Now I know this putt's straight because I've already chosen it, but the routine we're going to go through is we need to be back here at some stage, so we're going to practice this component of it as well. So when you walk into next to the ball, I want you to take your grip first. So we're going to take that grip that we talked about in that first lesson with the arms hanging. You're going to set up next to the ball, and we're going to have a couple of practice strokes, trying to feel how long of a stroke do I need to make the ball go the distance required to the hole. Then I'm going to take my grip, I'm going to aim the putter by placing the putter gently on the ground behind the hole. I'm going to take a couple of looks to the hole to make sure that the putter is aimed in the correct direction. I'm going to press the putter very, very gently into the ground so it doesn't move while I make this next move. I'm going to put my left foot in to set the ball position, my right foot away to set my stance width. I'm going to take one last look at the hole, back to the ball, and then make my stroke. I'm going to hold the finish till the ball goes in the hole, stand up, drag the next ball in, and go through the routine again. So again, I'm back behind the ball, lining it up. I walk in, practice strokes to feel how long a stroke do I need to make the ball go the distance required. I aim the putter first, a couple of looks to make sure it's aimed correctly. Gently press the putter into the ground so it doesn't move. Left foot in to set ball position, right foot away to set stance width. One last look at the hole, back and through, hold the finish. Now the idea is you want to keep working through that. We need that pre-shot routine to become automatic. If you can be consistent with your processes, and by that I mean the things that you do before you hit the golf ball, you're going to be far more consistent with your outcomes. So your exercise at the moment is, before we move on to the next skill, is I'd love to see you work through this routine. I'd like to see you hit 10 putts for me from about 4 feet from the hole, working through the routine we just outlined there. Once you've done that, we'll move on to the next set of skills. Before we move on to the next practice drill, I want to just spend a few extra minutes talking about ball position when we're talking about putting. It's really important that we set the ball in the correct location, because if we can get the putter striking the ball in the correct way, the ball's going to roll end over end more easily, hold its line better, and get to the hole a lot easier. So your ideal ball position should be slightly left of center, and the reason for that is that with the putter working as a pendulum, the bottom of that pendulum is going to be below the center of your chest. So we don't want to be striking the ball on the down, which is what it would be if the ball was too far back in your stance, because that's going to push the ball into the ground. We'd like to be striking the ball with the putter traveling slightly on the up, so it gets the ball rolling end over end a little sooner, and therefore gets the ball on its line a little easier. The best way to do that, or to figure out where that is, we'd like to have the ball underneath your left eye. So if I take my address position, I've got an extra ball in my pocket, and I take my address position here, and I drop the ball from the bridge of my nose, it should land on the target line, but behind the golf ball, and that would be an ideal ball position. Now, it's a little challenging at first to figure out exactly where that is. I'm going to show you that down the line as well, so you can see how that works. So here I am in my address position. I've got my eyes over the ball. If I drop the ball from the bridge of my nose and it hits directly behind the ball on the target line, now I know I've got my eyes in the correct location. I want to show you a great little training aid that I use with players, which really helps them get an understanding of that. I've got it set up here on the green, but this is an edge putting mirror from Eyeline. Fantastic little training aid because with the reflection on it, I can see where my eyes are when I take my setup. So I've got my straight putt on the green here. I've lined the putter up, I've lined the mirror up so that the ball it's aimed directly at the hole. Now when I take my address position, the reflection allows me to see where my eyes are in relation to the golf ball. So now when I set up, if I see my eyes directly over the ball or I see the ball underneath my left eye, I know I'm in the correct location. So if I go through my routine that I just did a few minutes ago, had my practice strokes first, go ahead, I use the mirror to help me with my aim as well as my eye position. Left foot into set ball position, right foot away, ball's directly underneath my left eye. I can go ahead and make my practice stroke, hold the finish, set up and then do it again. So this mirror is extremely helpful if we're trying to get the ball eyes on the correct line. That way we're striking the ball, as we said, slightly on the up and it gets the ball rolling a little sooner. The other thing is there's some great lines on the mirror, not only to see where your eyes are, but also so you can see the line that the ball's going to go along, and that'll help you a lot with your putting. So the next drill I'd love to see you do is, if you've got this mirror with you, definitely get out and spend a little time hitting some putts. I'd love to see you set up with this and see if you can make 10 in a row before we move on to the next drill. So you remember in the first lesson we did together, we had this putting pendulum out, which really helps us get a feel of how the putt is going to work with a shoulder motion. So what I wanted to do is show you how you can couple the work you're doing with your setup and where the ball position should be, along with the stroke technique by using this putting pendulum. So we're going to set it up the same as we did in that first lesson. We've still got the edge putting mirror down on the ground here to make sure we've got it lined at the hole and I can see where my eye position is. Now I'm going to take the putting pendulum, place it on the back of the putter, set it up on my chest. I'm going to aim the putter, set my feet. I want to go ahead and make the stroke. Make sure I've still got that pendulum feel from my shoulders. Then I can go ahead and drag another ball in and do it again. Now, the important thing is between now and next time we get together, I'd love to see you spend some time on the drills that we've talked about today. So your pre-shot routine is going to be critical. Remembering, like we talked about, if you're consistent with your processes, then you're going to be more consistent with your outcomes. So getting a pre-shot routine that works well for you is critical. I want you to remember the key elements of that routine are, we need to figure out first of all where we're going to aim. So there's going to be some green reading involved, which we're going to touch on in a later lesson. We want to make sure we have a practice stroke, first. So we're trying to figure out how long a stroke do I need to make the ball go the distance I'm trying to hit it. Then I need to aim the putter first. Putter first is the most important thing because that's going to be the greatest determinant of where the ball's going to start. So we aim putter first, set the ball position next, then stance width, last look at the hole, then go ahead and hit the stroke. We talked about doing some work on the putting mirror to help you with where your ball position would be. You remember the ball position is supposed to be underneath your left eye or just left of center, because we'd like to have the eyes over the target line in this direction, and we want to make sure the ball's slightly left of center this way so that we're striking the ball slightly on the up to give it a little better roll. And then we talked about we want to use the mirror, as we said, to help us with where our eye position should be, and then we can use the pendulum as well to continue to reinforce that putting stroke from the shoulders. So the drill I'd like to see you work on between now and next time is if you can hit 50 putts a day for me, working on that pre-shot routine, being aware of where your ball position should be, preferably using the putting mirror from Eyeline, which will be a huge help for you. If you don't have that, then one of the things that you can do is you can do that little exercise I did where you drop the ball from your eyes. You can also hit putts, just making sure that you have the ball set up like this in your stance so it's slightly left of center. So when you drop the ball, it hits the putter. That would be a great way to figure out where you are as well. But either way is going to be great, but what I'd love to see you do is hit 50 putts a day for me before we get together for our next lesson. Thanks for joining me today. See you next time. So thank you for joining me today for our lesson on reinforcing our pre-shot routine as well as our pre-swing fundamentals. If you get away and work on those drills, I'm sure things are only going to get better for you. Make sure you practice those drills before we get together next time, and also be sure to check out the attachments along with this video, which will have the outlines of the drills we did and also the links to the training aids that we used. If you've got any questions, please feel free to post them. I would love to hear from you and happy to answer any questions you have and keep you moving forward. Until next time, keep practicing and I'll see you soon.